What's going on, y'all? It's your girl, Shawna Speaks, and this is the Male and Female Perspective Podcast. And I am with my dope host. I got my boy, Just Comply, in the building.
What's going on, Shawna? How you doing?
What's going on, Comply? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Y'all, we got a dope show for y'all today. So you already know how it go. Let's go.
Let's get it.
What's going on? This is your girl, Shawna Speaks to Inspire, and I am your host of the Male and Female Perspective Podcast, along with my dope co-host, Just Comply.
Shawna, Taco Tuesday. Did you get your taco in?
No,
Did you get your taco?
No, I had taco last night. It was Taco Monday for me.
Okay. I had to get mine in.
You got to get yours in? Yeah, I had to get it. How was your weekend?
Not bad at all. I ain't do too much of nothing besides working. So good. You know how that is. Life be lifing. You know how
life be lifing. Hey. What's going on today, Comply?
Man, look, I worked me 16 hours, got off at 8 o'clock this morning. I was like, man, I'm about to, but I was like, okay, you know what? I got a good enough rest to be like, okay, you know what? I can make it through. I can make it through. I can get on the podcast today.
Thanks for being on time.
You know what I'm saying? You know what? You ain't gonna let me live it down, huh?
Nah, I ain't. That's why I sent you that early text. I was like, he gonna see this, okay?
I was already
out
up
here
by
with anxiety. No, I suffer from anxiety.
I was already up by that time.
I know that's why I
responded immediately back.
I was going to bed when I said that. You were up already.
Yep.
Yo, so tonight, this evening, this afternoon, wherever you are in the world, I got some stuff I need to get off my chest, Comply.
Let's get it off. First off, though, before we go any further, I do want to let everybody know that we are on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Buzzsprout. The Male and Female Perspective. Subscribe to us, share, listen, like. Give us some comments.
Follow.
Follow. Definitely. You know what I mean?
Like big.
We're on TikTok as well. You know what I mean?
That's right. We're on TikTok.
We trying to get it in,
We're in these TikTok streets.
We're in them streets.
In these streets. Okay?
In the streets.
In the scrubs. That's right. Like, follow, and subscribe. We got some dope content bi-weekly.
Give us some feedback,
That's right. Let us know.
I don't mind. Let us know what's up.
We got tough skin. We want the smoke.
All
he smokes cigars. I don't, but I still want the smoke. Right?
A little puff give.
A little puff give.
Right.
So tonight we had a little technical difficulties as always, but that's because the devil don't want us to get these words out, but we're going to get it out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I've been on these TikTok streets. And I've been looking at the, red pill, blue pill, red 121, Dr. Seuss men, I'm going to call them.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting on my nerve, okay? And they're messing up my women. And again, for me to help women and to pour into women daily, it's hard because of what's going on TikTok. So, what did you say, Comply? What did you call these people? Before I call them something I don't want to call them.
So it's either you have social media swag or you're a social media bully. Which one? Which one is it?
Yep, social media swag or social media bullies. That's the topic today. Yeah. And I'll start it off because I had the problem. I watch for content. I watch to understand, right? I'm in my emotional intelligence era. I'm not I'm not taking things emotionally. I look at things from a logic standpoint to get an understanding of why men feel the way they feel for us women lately, and be able to take that back to my women and my women's group to express what's the concerns of, of the men.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say that there are a certain community of men that are banding together in a negative way, and they are spewing hate, distaste, dislike for us women.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand a lot of it that they're saying it doesn't apply, but what I realize is that these older men that are talking to the older women, and because the older women, i.e. they want to call them pick-me's or whatever, they're not directly talking to our age group. They're talking to the next generation. And unfortunately, even though the next generation think that we're a weaker generation, which I feel we're the stronger generation, they still hear this hatred towards women. So if they're scrolling through like I'm scrolling through, because everybody can scroll through, there's no age group. As long as you're 18, everybody get to see the same things fall on the For You page. My question is, you saying that you're helping a community, and I'm not gonna call out some of these TikTok creators, because I definitely will put myself in a pickle, which I don't care. But later on, I probably will later on. It's like, you talk about the women. All of us are not dating Pookie and Ray Rays. A lot of us are dating a Kevin or a Samuel. I let that sit, and I land. What you say?
One of the things that I have learned over these last couple of months that I've been, listening to certain platforms, and especially on TikTok, because it's such a large platform, that there's a lot of hurt people that need to heal before they get on these platforms trying to give advice, right? Because a lot of the time you're not giving advice from a helpful place.
Right.
You're giving advice from a place of hurt, and you're just manifesting hurt to other people, onto other people. You're transferring your hurt energy onto other people. One of the things that I looked at, and it's easier to say, well, if it doesn't apply, let it fly.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily the case. Like, we live in reality, and a lot of the times, even if it does not apply to you, it prickles you. Yeah. You know what I mean? It will get next to you if you hear it enough times, because it's like, well, like, does every one of y'all feel this particular way? And it's the same way with when you go into the lives and you hear, oh, all men ain't this, men this, men this, men this. And so, like, I know that you ain't talking to me specifically, but however, like, I still represent my gender,
That's right.
And so I understand where you were coming from when you were saying, like, it was like, yeah, I know that I'm not these particular women, but however, like, we still are responsible as men. And this is what I want to say. We are still responsible as men to guard our women's ear gates in their hearts, in their spirits, right? Because it's easy to break somebody down. It's easier to break somebody down than it is to build them up.
Yeah, but now they use words like, oh, well, if this is bothering you, then you're triggered. No, some things are just insulting. I don't have to be in it in order to be upset about what's being said, especially when, as a woman that wants to date and wants to date with purpose, if I'm always being knocked out of the qualifying box, then what am I looking forward to? If I'm over here, if I got too many kids, something's wrong with me. If I don't have no kids, like we talked last week, something is wrong with me. If I'm over here and I'm just sexually liberated and free, then something is wrong with me. And if I'm too secluded,
conservative,
too conservative, right? Thank you. Then something is wrong with me. So then then these are not coming from the men that don't have jobs and are the Pookie and the Ray Rays of the world. These are coming from so-called educated men. And excuse me, but I don't care no more. These men were nothing, and they were lames when they were younger, and now they got a little bit of money, went to school, got a little muscles, they working out, and now they expect that their money, on one of the podcast guys said, Trip Fontaine on tonight's conversation, shout out to them, that these are men that think now because they got money and they educated that they're supposed to be wanted now by the women. But guess what? Now you're still a lane with money and educated and muscles. So guess what you're going to do? So now you call us bitter, but these platforms that are happening that are not trying to change the community or help the men that you keep saying we going for, it's not, like I said, it's not the Pookie and Ray Rays, it's the Kevins and the Samuels that we got to worry about. So now you're bitter, you're growing and pulling in other men that are bitter. Now y'all are switching energies with us. Now y'all are emotional, and now we're logical. And now you're mad because your money and your muscles, the women still don't want you. So now you want to sit and break down a generation and a gender because you can. Because it sells, because it pulls in more views to talk about women. But nobody's talking about the men that are not doing their job, that are not the fathers in the community, that are not mentoring these boys. But you rather get on social media daily and make money at the hands and the backs of women to continue to break us down. We already got societal issues with our other counterparts, but now we got to come here and get it from the very person that's supposed to protect us. And I'm not talking about physically protect us, but spiritually and mentally protect us, because we're supposed to be for each other. So forget the why are the women doing what we're doing. How about when and what we could do to fix it? Right. And it's just annoying. It's just really annoying.
I agree with you on that, because at the end of the day, what I find out is that when you are a person that has been accustomed to not being heard, when you do actually get a platform where you can, actually use your voice, like you speak from a place that's different from when you're used to people actually listening to you. You're used to, people actually, like if you pop in real life, then you don't worry about how social media look at. Like if I'm a wolf, if I'm an alpha dog out here in these streets, I don't worry about what you think about. You know what I mean? I ain't got to do all of this unnecessary stuff because I know I'm say popping. Every sentence. I'm alpha. No. I'm alpha because I'm an alpha. Because I'm an alpha. You 9 times out of 10, if you got to self-proclaim yourself and nobody else is calling you that, then you're not that. Yeah. Like to quote one of my favorite shows, Game of Thrones. There's a gentleman on there. His name was Tywin Lannister. He told his grandson. He said, "If you always gotta say that you're the king, you're not a king. You're not a king. You're not. You know what I mean? Because everybody knows. Like if you walk in the room and you that dude." Everybody's gonna recognize it. Like your swag. Everybody's gonna recognize. It's gonna be that swag, right? You ain't got to bully. No, you ain't. I ain't got to say nothing. I ain't got to bring you down. No, you ain't got to bully to the front, because if you about that, somebody would move out your way. Now he got to get to the front. She got to get to the front. Make way. Make way. Part the Red Sea. Right, but then when you got enough people or enough hurt men, right, that didn't know how to balance their emotions from getting hurt by a woman, and I'm not sitting up here saying that that we are victims all the time, because we're not. But what I'm saying is that every woman don't deserve to be put down, let down because of a few men. And then because biblically it's said that men will lord over us, but it's supposed to just be your husband, not your boyfriend, not your baby father, not a dude you're sleeping with, but your husband will lord over you. But unfortunately, because of the way social media is every man seems to be lording over us because, like you said, our ear gates and our eye gates are not protected. Because I can't understand these women that go on here and they sit and they listen and they sitting at the hands of the Kevin Samuels
and the Patrice that used to be here, listening
right.
to the misogynistic rhetoric. And they're in there, and it saved my life, and he's right. And like you said, if it don't apply, don't let let it fly. But you're doing yourself a detrimental, because you go back with that detriment, because you go back and take that into the community of these young girls. Forget about the older women. Not say forget about them, but we've made our decisions, right? So you can't keep hitting us with a hammer. We already know what we've done to ourselves. It's the fact that you're on here talking, and you're a grandfather, a father, an uncle. You got younger sisters, and you keep talking about 304s and this, that, and the third. And then when a woman gets on there, she's a dummy, because her vernacular may not be as broad, or her vocabulary may not be as broad as yours. So because you got a little bit of word, and you got a little army training, and you went to school, but your pictures show you was a lame when you was a kid. It deems you to be okay to down women because you can, instead of getting therapy and help from the women that didn't want you.
And then on top of that there's a level of accountability that is lacking, because in my view, this is always my view. Like, if I spend a lot of time talking about the women that have done something to me, like, then it means that I have not healed I'm still there. You know what I mean? Like, somebody still got my heart or my head or whatever that I'm talking from. Right. And for me, this is just me. Like, that's a red flag. That's a red flag for me. If you can't break down where your accountability is and how you could have done better, and put and lead with I. Lead with I. If you lead with I, then you don't have room to think about what they could have done. Their issue is their issue to deal with. And not to say that, a woman's always right or a man's always right or whatever. But if each person lead with I could have did this better. I could have said this better. I could have controlled myself. You know what I mean? Like, I saw this going down this road, and I could have chose to go left, or I could have chose to pump the brakes, but I just went on full steam ahead, or what. There's always something that you can do. And a lot of times what we find is these people get on these platforms or whatever, have this narcissistic thought process that, you know what, I didn't do anything wrong. It was your fault.
It's always your fault.
You know what I mean? It was your fault. And because it's your fault.
Yes.
Because it was your fault, now, every single woman now is the same thing that you were. Instead of, no, it was on me. I shouldn't have done that.
I should have vetted better.
No, there it is.
Because women, women, y'all don't get off the hook. Because these, and I said it to somebody yesterday. I said, and it's saying, right? If these men are as bad as we say they are, and there's no good men, like you said, there's no good men left. How do these no good men still end up being fathers? How do these no good men still end up in your beds? How does these no good men still be able to penetrate you? And even get your time, if the Pookies and the Pookies and Ravens are getting sex from somebody, and half of them are not a Bonquishas and TTs either. Some of them are educated women. Some of them got women that got jobs and careers. And because loneliness sits in, and I keep telling you about this, to sit down and heal before you start picking, because your pickings is everything. Anybody you slept with in your time, aside from when you first started up until now, you should have experience as to know what's good and what's bad from you. The men and the women that you sleep with is a direct reflection of you.
Yep.
So if you keep picking bum men, you're a bum. Or you bummish. If you keep sleeping with women out of 304s and you keep deeming them not worthy, then you hoish too.
Yeah.
Because you don't get to sleep with somebody and then talk about them and call them names, and they not this, and they don't got this, and she crazy, he crazy, he don't have this, they don't have this, they not doing this, but you slept with them. And you
but you
continue to
keep
sleep with
sleeping
them.
with them.
And you keep sleeping with them. So
You
who
keep
fault it
sleeping with
is?
them.
Then these platforms are made. Because now the people that are asking these questions, they're asking it because they don't know how to get themselves in. So, you know what? Let me pose this question out there to social media because I've been doing some, but let me make it into, a rat race.
Right.
Who's the worst of the women and the men? But when you turn
That
around,
part right there.
It's no women questions, no men questions. It's all men. It's all to the women.
It's a whole lot of hypocrisy that goes on too, where on one hand, you want things this way, then on the other hand, you want things that way. Well, you can't have things totally. I believe 100%, and you get what you give. You're not going to plant orange seed in the ground and get a watermelon. It's just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
You can't plant a rose, a seed for roses and get an elephant ear. That's not happening.
It's not happening.
So what you put in the ground is what you get out of it.
You reap what you sow.
You're going to get it, and more times than not. Let's go ahead and let's be honest. You do, again, I said this to someone not too long ago. Mm-hmm. You don't put one rose or rose seed down into the ground and then expect to get just one rose.
No.
You know what I mean? Like you don't get just one rose. No, you put the seed down or whatever, and you expect that it's supposed to produce multiple in multitude, right? So in that same vein, if you put negative down into the ground, you're going to get multiple negative coming back.
Exactly.
If you put positive, if you put love, if you put compassion, if you put understanding, if you put wisdom, if you put patience,
morals,
those things come back to you, and they come back to you in droves.
Yes, it's true. I agree. And what I noticed also, just putting on my life coach hat real quick, when I see these men talking, just like with the women, all I see is a bunch of little kids talking, because it's the inner child that's showing up. It's the inner child. It's the inner child showing out on these podcasts. I don't care if you
throwing a whole tantrum
and got a full goatee of salt and pepper. Your non, what's the word I'm looking for? Your inability to control your emotions and spew it at a certain gender and type. That's your inner child, because you got to be the loudest one. You got to be the most ignorant one. You got to be the one to disrespect anybody. It's a coping mechanism, and it shows. And as intelligent and as smart as you think you are, that little boy, and I'm talking to the men, is running rampant, making decisions for you.
Yeah.
Because you didn't put him to sleep. You didn't tell him that, hey, you know what? Well, he can't go to sleep because half of y'all won't go to therapy to get healed, to understand how to rationalize and how to control your inner child and to protect him. So you just let him come up and show up in any conversation. Women too, but we had this conversation already.
Yeah. One of the things that I believe wholeheartedly, and I'm not a real big biblical or religious person, but I believe wholeheartedly, like when you're a child, you do childish stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's what that's what you're supposed to do. Exactly. But when you're a child, you do childish stuff. You respond childishly. You believe things childishly. You think childishly. But then when you grow up and you know better, then you put away childish behaviors and things. You know what I mean? Like at some point in time, like
that was so
we have to get out of this notion that, you know what, I'm supposed to have this, and if I don't have this, it's this person's fault, or whatever the case may be, or if this person has done me wrong, or whatever. Not all the time does there need to be a hero or a victim or a villain in every story.
It doesn't.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't.
Not every time. Like sometimes, you know what, you just need to accept your responsibility, your role in that particular situation. Handle that. That's all you need to handle. You can't handle nobody else. You can't do nothing for, you know what I mean? Like for me to to have dealt with what I've dealt with and then get on the platform and be like, well, all women, this, that, and the third, and a person like Shawna, who I've never met in my life, get on the platform and she feels a certain type of way. Now, her self-esteem is lowered because she heard me on the platform saying, well, all women, this, that, and the third. And
that's it.
That's irresponsible of me. And what happens is that if there is something that should happen, and this is what people don't realize, is that when you put those type of things out into the earth and it's received by somebody, you're responsible for the calamity that you cause. That's right,
because you're
even if
something.
it's in.
Yeah, and biblically, the Bible
even if
says
it's inadvertent.
You teach it. A teacher is held the worst when it comes to judgment. When you have to sit before somebody, before God, and explain why you taught this, or you said this, or you deemed this. So being a teacher is a big responsibility, not even on earth, but just in the kingdom itself. And you just made a point that I'm trying to say. The point that you just said is the fact of why we had this conversation today about you saying things and a woman already feeling low about herself, trying to get herself together. I'm sitting on here giving tools and treatment and to help women to go about their day to be the best woman. To the women that you're claiming are this, I'm trying to change them and show them better and show them their faults, right? Why your baby father ain't nothing, or why you got multiple baby fathers. It's not only the guy. Because you keep making the same mistakes, we can't blame him anymore. But how can I, if I'm trying to change the community of women, right? How can I take them and put them under my wing and give them the tools to go through daily to have a prosperous relationship? But then as soon as they turn on social media, they hear this. So it's like co-parenting, right? You can't co-parent with a parent that don't want to meet you at the same thing. Like me and Kapla, parents, we're not gonna take our child and show our child that we're fighting. We got to be the driving force together to let this child know, like, if you go over here with your father the weekend and I'm over here with me, we're gonna have a conversation so you don't try to get over on us. But y'all all keep talking about community, and y'all keep talking about, with community. No, you're making money on the backs of and the pain of women. You sit up here when we weren't protected in slavery times. And now here we go. Now it's like modern day slavery at the hands of our men. Of our own color.
Yeah.
I don't go outside and turn on TikTok or social media and see any YT person talking about me.
Right.
They're not talking about their women. They're not having bonfires on TikTok about their women. Even if they felt the way, but we do that.
Right.
But then we want unity though, but we want to be taught the damage is already done. They already pitted us against each other, and it's working.
Yeah, it's working. Yeah.
So I can't sit here. I'm sorry. I can't sit here and do my job, and then as soon as they leave whatever session or coaching class that they got with me, and go on TikTok. I told them, I said, you got to turn down your hours on TikTok. And as soon as you go into a place, even me, as strong as I am, I got some insecurity. If I go in and hear something that I'm insecure about myself, and I sit up there and get zoomed in like a moth to a flame, I'm going to get sucked into it.
Right.
And now you got to get that stuff off you.
Yeah, you got to get it off of you. Yeah. And seeing that's the one thing that I'm very conscientious of, because I do feel there's a responsibility to me as the steward of your soul, the steward of your spirit, the steward of your mind, right? When I speak and you and you're listening to me, or if you're paying attention to me, where am I trying to lead you? You know what I mean? Am I trying to lead you to positive? Am I trying to affirm you? Am I trying to inspire? Am I trying to lift you up, or am I trying to tear you down? You know what I mean? And because how I feel like I lead is how things will go. So
right.
for me, I think there's a certain responsibility on me personally. So when I speak, there are certain things that I think about automatically. Like, what is my purpose? What is the purpose of me saying this? And see, that's the one thing. It's like I'm not going to turn on the microphone and just say random stuff.
But they do.
Just so that I can get likes, just so that, I could get viewership, just so that, at the end of the day, I can monopolize the platform that yes, of course I want to make money.
Right, but
of course I want to make money. Of course I want to, but I want to be responsible with the lives that I touch as well, And so that's why I like the fact that we got together, because, one of the things that I look at is that, like, for all the different platforms that is spewing this negative mess or whatever, and throwing out this stuff where it's like, it's disheartening.
It is.
That's what it is. It's disheartening. But for all of those different platforms, like, we are definitely two strong individuals that, look, if need be, if I need to call my girl, I'll be like, hey, you good?
Of course.
Get a laugh or whatever else like that. Because like you said, like, even the strong need strength after a while. Even the strong need strength.
But you said something so profound, is that I'm blessed at this platform that we're creating. And because our platform is not so controversial, right? I'm sure it'll get there, because we're going to make a difference.
Right.
I realized that like we said it in a couple of podcasts before, about the positive is a slow move. It's like molasses. It moves, but it's slow, right? But lies is like fire. It'll just take off and take everything in its path. It will destroy everything in its path. And that's what, unfortunately, is happening to the positive side of TikTok and YouTube, and the negative side of TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. You have more people monetizing on the pain of people. You got women and men, and this goes, like we're going to do the mental health from the view of a woman. You got women and men that I deal with daily, even on my job versus what I love to do on here, that are struggling every day just to wake up.
Yeah.
Just to breathe, just to be able to turn over and eat something, to get out of bed, just to go to work, to make the bare minimum, living paycheck to paycheck. And unfortunately, when our mind starts racing, instead of prayer and meditation, the first thing we do is pick up our phone. We might play a game, might have a solitaire game in there, but the most thing we're doing on TikTok. It's so bad on TikTok that they got people saying, hey, you've been scrolling for a long time. You might want to put the phone down. You're like, F you, don't tell me what to do. I'm going to stay on here. Then you next thing you turn around, been on there for 6 hours. I'm guilty, right? Whether I'm looking for content or I can't sleep. But then you get on here and you say these things, call women dummies, and you this and you that. And then, you go outside with bonnets. I get it, but there's a way to be able to gravitate and pull people in a positive way than to say you're stupid, you're this, you're dumb, you're not worthy with one kid. But how did I get that one kid? You think in the beginning when I first started dating that it was that the guy didn't tell me lies, and I wasn't trained to know when a man is lying because I was taught that you trust people until you can't. Right. So now I have a kid. Then you go through life again, and now you know a little bit more, right? Or you don't know that women are devious and gonna lie and say you hit them and they didn't. Now you learn from that mistake. So now we both are tarnished, but do we stay tarnished, or do we get cleaned up and find out if I'm gonna treat everybody the same going forth, or every man or every woman is the same in my life going forth?
Right.
And nobody wants to do that. So I'm saying all that to say is that these people, you have, like you say, they have responsibility. First of all, not just to speak from emotions, but to have some facts and some researched facts that you're saying. First of all, you're using words wrong. Trauma bonding and pandering and all these words you're making up because you don't like something. That's what's really messing up our community. These words that we're using. If I'm for men and I'm telling you everything's a label, but everything's mislabeled though. And guess what happens when you mislabel something?
It gets taken in the wrong context.
And it messes up life. You think right now, if I take some medicine right now and it's mislabeled and I pull it in the syringe and I'm giving, and it says supposed to give 1 microgram, but I gave 1 milligram. Do you know that's gonna kill somebody?
That's what
if it's mislabeled, unallow somebody. If it's mislabeled, it's the same thing. But y'all don't care because you're making money. You're getting gifts. People are paying you. So you don't care. You go to sleep with your family and don't realize that the very thing that you're spewing out is going to happen to you. You can't do that.
Yeah.
It's one thing to talk from a place of heated conversation with a heart to help than talk to somewhere from an evil place to hurt.
Yeah. I agree.
And I'll land with that.
I agree. And it's definitely... we definitely have work to do. Let's just go ahead and let's just put it that way. Yeah, we have work to do. And you know what? To be honest with you, the work starts with the conversations that we have. You know what I mean? Like only thing we could do at this particular point in time is put it out there. Let folks know, like, look, it's the same way that you hear these people that has got these negative things to say and whatever like that. You also have some of us on the other side that understand the struggle, that understand, the need for accountability, that understand that, you know what, you don't have to be, you don't have to have swagger to be a bully, or you don't have to be a bully to have swag. Right. You know what I mean? It's not something that goes hand in hand. It's not exclusive to each other. Like I can lift you up and still have swag, because my swag is still going to be present even when I big you up, even when I help you, even when I say you can do better. Even when I say, there are certain things that I needed to work on in order for me to get here. So I understand, like those things can be done at the same time. And that's the problem, is that, too many times you get on some of these platforms and people feel as if, their truth is the only truth.
Is it really truth though?
But is it really truth? Have you actually sat down and actually told yourself the truth? And that's the biggest thing. Like you sit here and you trying to tell us your truth.
Right. You're not going to confront yourself.
But if you've lied to yourself enough times, then that's your truth.
Believe it, and you're going to believe it. And you're going to believe it. You're going to forget that it was, you're like, nah, you're like, that's a lie? No, that's the truth. It's the truth. Yeah, it's the truth.
Because you have habitually told yourself a lie to the point where you tell the story as if it's the truth, but in actuality, it's a whole lie. It's still a whole lie.
Whole lie. Whole face lie.
Whole face lie.
Whole lie.
I'm trying to tell you.
Lie. But we are definitely, like you said, we definitely got some work to do. We definitely, I think, we're going to figure it out to go live more, because the live is what is happening now, like going on, right?
In real time.
And that gives momentum to what we're trying to do. I'm like I said, I'm really proud of this project and everything. And I know it's going to be good because it's different. It's different. Every time I turn on, I'm like, yeah, this is not it. I might even go live today with the girls later on to keep this going.
And one of the best things about it is that every single person that I've gotten to listen to this have given me positive feedback. That is the crowning jewel for me. You know what I mean? Like everyone that has listened to us has said, has given nothing but positive feedback. I like that.
Because we're speaking from truth, and it's not venom. And then like I told my girls the other day, I said sometimes I talk to y'all in a calm tone. I said, but what's most aggravating is that I take my time away from doing what I want to do, and I give a day up to dedicate to y'all twice a month, 2 hours. Y'all could call on me all day if you need to, and I'm teaching y'all, and I'm even giving you what I'm going through. And what I'm being taught and what I've learned in these past couple of years of being a life coach. And then I got to see my work not being used.
Implemented, right.
It's not being implemented. You it's like now I feel like you just using me to pour and, to pack your stuff onto me. But as I pour into you, it's like you're blocking it. But at the same time, I feel like some of it got to be used. Some of it has to be used, but it's disheartening to be a coach to do what these men saying. Well, their first question, because again, every woman that's in the comments ain't never the one that the women are talking about. They're never the 304s. They're never the ones that's bitter. They're always the ones that got it together. It's never that person in the comments, right?
Never.
But then in the same breath, I am doing the community a service. I don't care if I'm coaching 5 women. That's going to be 5 women less that you could talk about that can understand that somebody cares about them, to show them this is what you need to be doing. Right. Other than monetizing off of me calling you names. Yeah. I said, so when I'm getting at you and a way it's harsh, but it's a sting of love versus a slap of you just listening to what's going on.
Right.
And then I've learned also, and I maybe because men have a stronger presence, because this is why they're needed in the household, because y'all men have a natural stronger presence when it comes to speaking something. I've learned that women will listen to a man first and realize he's lying later, but then listen to a woman last and realize she told him the truth first. And that's my thing, because I say, oh yeah, don't do this, don't do that. You should be this way. The men don't like this and da. From my perspective and what I've learned in my research of talking to guys, right? Because I still take the positive from what I'm seeing on TikTok and these different social media platforms. And then I go and they go, oh, okay. Oh. And then it's like they don't listen. But then in the same breath, they'll come back and go, oh, yeah, because I listened to this coach and he said blah, 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 blah. And I go, but I said that to you. Right. I said, so if you are geared to listen to a man coach or a male's presence, then by all means do that, because listen to both sides is not going to work for you. So that's why these male platforms are moving the way they're moving, because they have a presence. That's why I did the male-female perspective podcast, because I know my perspective can be reinforced or can be debunked by having another male presence. Because y'all are the strength. And this is why women are being tormented and feeling the way they feel and internalizing what y'all men say on these platforms, because your presence is strong and needed. But you're using it for evil. And that's the part that I have a problem with as a female life coach. I have a problem with that.
I can agree with that.
Unfortunately.
I can agree with that. We got, again, but we're going to do this work. We're going to keep it pushing. We're going to do this work.
Yeah.
And, one episode at a time.
One episode at a time.
You know what? You have anything you want to say to wrap it up?
What I want to say is, women, don't internalize these lame men out here. Don't internalize if you know you're not the woman that they're talking about. Don't internalize it. Don't let it be about you. Stay out of these hellhole of these rooms, because it's detrimental to your healing. If you are doing healing or therapy from a relationship, past traumas at the hands of men or your father or your brothers, it's not good for you to be in these red pill, blue pill rooms. They're going to tear you down. And any work that we as therapists, life coaches, mindset coaches, psychologists, psychiatrists are doing we're fighting against that. So do yourself a service, get the training, get the therapy, get the coaching that you deserve, and then later on take a fast from social media and be careful. Like, discern what you allowing in your eye gates and your ear gates.
Mm-hmm.
Like these two here, you be very, very, very careful. You have anything else to say?
I say to all the women, especially since this is the topic that we're speaking on. You are your first steward to your eye and your ear gate. So be careful what you entertain, right? Mm-hmm. And entertaining means watching, means hearing, means internalizing, means responding to. You are responsible for all those things. Those are your responses. Those are your actions. Those are you actions, right?
Yep.
So if you feel a certain type of way, if your spirit is vexed, if you are perturbed, if you find yourself having self-doubts, feeling that your value is being lessened, you have every right whatsoever to disengage from whatever it is that's making you feel that particular way. Don't allow the opinion of one person to tear down what God has built up. And I'll end there.
And this has been another episode of the Male and Female Perspective Podcast. I'm your humble host, Shawna Speaks. And
I am Just Comply.
And you know what to do. Follow, like, subscribe. Like you said, just comply.
Just comply.
Later, y'all. Have a good night.